If you've ever crocheted a top before, chances are you've already made a cowl neck top, okay? They're everywhere. I can't go on God's internet and open Pinterest.com without seeing a crochet cowl neck top. We're not going to be reinventing the wheel here today. At the end of the day, we are just crocheting a basic cowl neck top, period. But I did want to put my own little spin on it. And I think that the stripes in like gorgeous, contrasting, bold colors is the move. I love the colors. I love working with big, bold colors. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I used lace weight yarn for this top. Scary. I know. It's not actually as scary as it sounds. I'll explain in a second. I hate the colors that like 4-ply cotton yarn comes in. Someone needs to do something about it. I'm being really so serious. 4-ply cotton yarn comes in like 4 colors. Mustard yellow, stark white, Squidward, greeny, blue, teal, and beige. Why? Who's using these colors? I feel very passionately about this. That's why I work with lace weight cotton. Lace weight cotton comes in all the fun colors, honey. Look at this, hot pink. What I like to do is get 2 balls of lace weight yarn, work with them together to like thicken up the ply so that I can make something like this and not go insane by using lace weight. So please do not let the lace weight yarn discourage you. We're doubling it up for this top and everything's gonna be okay. Anyway, this top is, whoa, really easy to make. Tripping over. Who put that there? This top is so simple to make. We're just doing double crochets essentially. I'm like pretty sure that you can make this in literally any size and it would work the same. And you can make this in a day if you like really lock the fuck in. A weekend definitely. And the best part is that this top cost me about $3 to make. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Let's travel back in time and go back to a few days ago and we'll make this pink and red version together. Wait, could you layer them and that would be kind of cool? No, never mind. It looks like I've been electrocuted. Let's ignore that. Okay. I'm tossing up between which colors to make my next top. I don't know whether I want to do pink and brown, which is very like Y2K baddie vibes. Cute, but I don't know if it's really in my color palette, or a nice hot pink and red. I feel like this is a little bit more wearable for me, and I think that these colors would look really nice with like a nice deep green cargo pant, which I wear a lot of. So I think I'm gonna go with the pink and red. Sorry. Now, if you didn't already know, a cowl neck top is just a big ass rectangle. That's literally all we're doing, is we're crocheting a big ass rectangle. And if you've never crocheted a big ass rectangle before, all we're doing is making a starter chain and then double crocheting rows and rows and rows in that same amount of stitches until the top is as long as we're happy with. How easy is that? I recommend using a scarf, one that's like nice and loose and flowy, to kind of map out how your top will fit. Playing around with the scarf and kind of mapping out like how deep you want the cowl neck to be, how high up or like low down your straps will be sitting, because that totally changes like the depth of the cowl neck. That's something to keep in mind. If you prefer it worn up high so that you can't see any of the ties, that's totally fine. Just keep in mind whereabouts the cowl neck is going to be sitting. If you prefer, like me, I wanted mine sitting down a little bit lower with the straps coming down. That's going to totally change where the cowl neck is sitting. These are all important things to keep in mind. You can have a teeny tiny cowl neck. You can have a big fuck off cowl neck, like whatever. There's no rules, okay? But that's how you're going to figure out how long your starter chain should be. I marked just with safety pins, which I shouldn't have done because I think it has put holes in this scarf. Something to keep in mind. Maybe don't do that. But yeah, I just marked it out with this scarf. That's how I want it to sit. I made my starter chain this exact length. And that's how you can figure out how long your starter chain is going to be. It's going to be different for everyone. And I actually think that's beautiful. So for my bigger, oversized black and yellow cowl neck, I did a starter chain of 85. But because I want my next one to be a teensy-weensy bit skinnier, I'm gonna do a 75 starter chain. Something to also think about before you start is what you want your border to look like. Do you want it to be just a solid color? Do you want it to be like the mixed kind of colors like the straps are here? And which color do you want sitting against that border. I knew that for this top, I wanted a solid black border. And personally, I think it would have looked a bit shitter if it was a black border against a black stripe. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it would have had the same effect. I really like the contrast of the yellow stripe and the black border. What kind of border you put on your top is completely up to you. Do a border in a completely different color. The world is your oyster, babe. Just think about that before you start crocheting because it's all important. I think that the contrasting colors on the edge here is a nice touch. So I'm gonna start with the pink for this next top because I want my border to be red. If you're copying me and you're using the lace weight cotton yarn, I'm gonna be using 2 balls for each color. So I have got 2 hot pink and 2 for the red. It's super simple. Maybe it feels a little bit weird if you've never done it before. It may take a bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, queen, water off a duck's back. You're just gonna like grab the ends together, match them up at the end, and that's how I'm gonna be working with it for the whole project. And I'm gonna start making my starter chain. My starter chain is gonna be 75. Don't talk to me while I do it. I can't count and talk at the same time. I forgot to mention. I'm using my 6mm hook. I don't really know why. I wanted my crochet to be really loose. Like I want it to be quite gappy. I want it to be really flowy without having to block it. Using a hook that's nice and big allows it to be like nice and flowy and gorgeous. Also, just wanting to note that while I'm making my starter chain, I'm using a really loose tension, through this whole top. My chain stitches are nice and big, nice and loose. I'm hardly pulling on the yarn on this left hand and just allowing them to be really baggy stitches. 31, 32. I'm gonna work back over this with double crochets. I know that a lot of people, they chain 2 or 3 and then somehow work it back into like the last stitch on the starter chain. I don't do that. I think at some point I must have watched a tutorial that recommended just going straight into a double crochet back into the very last chain on the starter chain to make the edges straighter, and I have to agree, it really does make the edges straighter. I much prefer the look of my projects when I crochet that way. I would never ever, under any circumstances, do the whole like chaining 2 or 3. I don't even know how to do it. Chaining 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it is, and then somehow attaching that into the first chain. I don't know. So I'm literally starting with a double crochet and working it into the last chain on the starter chain. I'm gonna keep double crocheting all the way back along my starter chain, and I'm gonna count while I do this just to make sure I actually got a chain of 75. 1, 2, 3. I did it. There's 75. Oh, I'm gonna do another row of double crochet in the same amount, another row of 75, because for my stripes, I'm doing 2 rows of each color before changing over to the next one, which is actually important, and I'll explain why in a second. So I'm gonna do my second row of pink, and then we'll pop you up bird's eye view so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and I can teach you how to change colors and do the stripes, honey. Okay, see you in 1 second. Queens, don't spend too much time looking at my nails, okay? I'm trying to get into being a nails girl. One of my New Year's resolutions this year was to be 20% more diva, but I'm trying to do nails on a cost of living crisis budget. So we're doing press-ons, but I don't know how to put them on without getting air bubbles underneath. It's a work in progress, okay? Anyway, I've done my second row of double crochet here, just like normal, how you normally would, all the way along, except for this very last stitch here I haven't done. I've got 1 last double crochet to work into this stitch here, and instead of doing a fully normal double crochet into here, I'm gonna do one that attaches the red yarn. I've got my 2 balls of red cotton yarn that I've matched up at the ends here that I'll be working with. I'm just gonna like shove them out of the way. And I'm gonna do the first half of a normal double crochet into this last stitch. So yarning over, pulling the yarn through, pulling through the first 2 loops on the hook there. And then instead of yarning over again with the pink and pulling through the last 2 loops, I'm gonna drop the pink yarn, pick up the red, leave a bit of a tail on the end, and yarn through with the red yarn. I'm just gonna kind of like pull on my red yarn to tighten all that together. I'm gonna drop the tails of my red yarn And then I'm going to flip all this around and start double crocheting my first row of red. Like I mentioned before, I like to start my edges with just a normal double crochet. I'm not doing a chain because I literally don't even know how to do that. And I'm just going to keep double crocheting my way along. I'm going to be doing 2 rows of red using a really loose tension again. And that's what it should be looking like for now. I'm going to continue with this row of red. I'll flip my work and do my second row of red. And then I'll meet you back here after I've done my second row to show how we're going to pick the pink back up again. Okay, my 2 rows of red are done. How pretty are these colors together? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm at the very end of my second row of my red. I've got one very last double crochet to work into here. So I'm going to be using the red yarn to start this double crochet into this stitch here, yarn over, pull through the first 2 stitches, drop that red yarn, pick back up the pink yarn from before that's just kind of been like chilling off to the side here. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through these stitches, and it's just going to be running along the side of the top here. And you're probably thinking, hey, what the fuck? Because it's going to be like this all the way along this side of the top where we're changing over colors. By the time we put a border on this top, it's going to fully cover all of this loose, ugly yarn that's sticking out along this one side. And this is why I'm working in rows of 2. It makes it so much simpler to switch between colors when they're being switched over on the one side. You know, this yarn that you're gonna have like running against the top, you don't want to pull it too tight because it's gonna fully like skew your work. And you don't want it too loose so it's like all the way out here and looks all like fucked up, right? You just want it to be a perfect in between. I want it just running along the edge here really nicely, just like that. And a girl, just little border running along here at the end is going to make a world of difference. Okay, trust me. I'm leaving that red behind, taking my pink yarn, making sure that I'm happy with the tension here. This is perfect. I'm going to flip my work around, start my double crochet into that first stitch. I'm just going to kind of pull on the red yarn so that it tightens up the stitch here. And then I'm going to continue doing my 2 rows of pink. One last time showing you what I'm doing here. I'm taking the pink yarn that I've done these last 2 rows with, yarning over, pushing through the top of that stitch, yarning over, pulling through the first 2 loops on the hook, dropping my pink yarn, taking this red yarn, having it run up along the side here, not too tight, not too loose, pulling through the last 2 loops on the hook. I'm going to pull on this pink yarn to just kind of tighten that loop there really loosely. Just kind of like pull on the edge here so that nothing is pulled too tightly. Let's flip the work around. Work my first double crochet into, oops, that stitch. And oh, that is perfect. Look at that. That's what it'll look like all the way along. And also, while we're here, can I just draw your attention to this other side, right? How straight and neat and gorgeous are my edges because I work with a double crochet straight into my first stitch. Oh, it seriously makes a world of difference. It looks so much better. Listen, it's personal preference, of course. Like, whatever, feel free to dance to the beat of your own drum, but I'm just saying, it's really nice. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing my stripes and I'm going to go and watch 90 Day Fiancé and I'll check back in when I have a bit of a top made. Hey, so if you value your sanity at all, I recommend keeping these balls of cotton as far away from each other as possible. Look at this. How pretty are these colors? Oh my God, I love them. I have a mental illness where like when I start a crochet project, I'm like, oh my God, it's so ugly. It looks disgusting. Like, what the fuck am I thinking? And then I get to like this point in the project and I'm like, wait a second, wait. I actually think like I'm maybe done with my stripes. I don't want it any longer. I'm really happy with the length. Maybe I want it even a teeny tiny bit shorter. Do I need to undo some rows? Because I started my top with pink, I want to finish with pink. So if I was going to take off, I would have to take off like 2 rows. Let's see what that looks like. Looks the exact same. I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to cut my yarn with like a fair chunk of you know, bit left on the ends so that there's enough to sew in and tie off and whatever. Get rid of this, although we will be using it again pretty soon. So I will have to sort that out. Yeah, I am gonna have to sort that out. Let's tie off all my ends and sew them in so I can put a border on this top. I'm so pedantic about my ends and like tying in a million bajillion different knots. It is completely unprofessional, but it's how we do things around here. Feel free to do yours however the friggin' hell you like. I look like an insane person. I look so tired today, dude. I am tired. I'm gonna keep any like offcuts of yarn like this for my little pom-poms. What are these called? Tassels? For this red yarn that's a little bit lower down. I'm gonna tie my knots and sew it in just along this edge here. Also, the nails are not holding up. The nails are unwell. It's okay. I'm getting excited. What are these? What is happening here? Guys, get a room. Oh my God. I'm so excited about this top all of a sudden. Let's put a border on. Let's do the border. Oh my God. Let's do the border. I'm using 4 balls of cotton of the same color for my border. I don't really know why. It makes it a little bit thicker and I like the way that that looks. All my ends are matched up. I'm gonna leave a nice long tail. What do we call this? Like yarning on? I don't fucking know. And I'll pop you up so you can see. I'm gonna start working into this corner here. Literally any corner will do. It's all the same. I'm gonna work into the space in between these 2 stitches here, and this will be the kind of corner of my border. I'm gonna shove my hook in, grab the tail end of my yarn and the yarn that I'll be working with, and yarn over, pull it all through, and again, pull all of that yarn through the loop on the hook. Tighten this, drop the tail ends of the yarn, and then yarn over and pull through. And there we go. That's the border yarn attached. Let's fucking go. I'm pretty sure this is a border of single crochets. I don't really know if that's the correct terminology or not, but either way, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. So everything will be okay. I'm working 3 stitches into every corner. This counts as my first stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and do my second one where I'm going to just shove the hook through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both of the loops on the hook. So that's my second stitch. I'm going to do that exact same thing again. Shove my hook into this corner, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both the loops. So that's 3 stitches. So now I'm ready to start working up the side of my piece. I'm going to work into the stitches along the sides of my top. So I'm working into this stitch here, and I'm going to do 2 stitches, 2 border stitches for every stitch that I'm working into. So there's 1, 2 into that pink stitch there. Then I'll be working into this red stitch here, shoving my hook into this double crochet. It looks a bit like fucked to start with, but once you pull it all out and even it all out, look how nicely that's sitting in there. 1, 2. Working into your stitches will just make it a lot less gappy. It looks a lot more like put together, I feel. So I'm going to keep going along. Just kind of work into here. 1, 2. I'm just working like that all the way along my top. As I go along, I'm just going to be really mindful that I'm actually working into the double crochets and not the heads of the crochet. You know, you can kind of see here, this is the double crochet here. That's the head of that double crochet there. And then that's the other double crochet up there. And the double crochet bits are the bits I personally want to work into. That's this side done. Look at her. Hello? She's stunning. Now I have this corner here to work into. It's a little bit tricky to see, but there we go. That's a bit better. So I'm going to do my 3 into this corner. 1, 2, 3. And then along these kind of like top edges, I'm going to work my border in between these stitches. Just like that. So I'm not working into the heads of the crochet. I personally don't like that look. I'm just going to work in between the gaps in between each stitch. Just like this. Cute! Oh my God, it's so cute. Okay, I'm reaching this 3rd corner here, doing my 3 stitches in. 1, 2, 3. And now we're at the side where all the yarn is like sticking out. So obviously I want to do the same thing where I'm working into the stitches of my double crochet. As I'm working into my stitches, I just want to make sure, of course, that I'm covering the yarn that I've carried up along that edge as well. This may be a better example here. You can see that my next 2 stitches that I'll be working into are these pink stitches here. And as I'm doing that, I just want to make sure that I'm covering this red yarn that's running along the edge with my border as well. So working into this stitch and grouping in that red yarn with it so that it's completely hidden and secret. It's a secret. The only 2 people who know about it are you and me. And there we go. It's completely covered. You wouldn't even know it's there. Okay, y'all. I have nearly worked all the way around back to where we started. Woo! What I'm going to do is shove. I'm not yarning over or anything. I'm shoving my hook into this very first stitch that we did. It can be a mess to work into sometimes. Bear with me. Did it. I'm yarning over, pulling it through, and then pulling through that other stitch. And that's how we're joining the border back up together. And that's the whole friggin' thing done. I'm going to pull on this, snip this. Sorry. I'm going to tie off these ends here. And look at that. Oh my God, look at her. She's perfect. I love it. Let's make some ties. Let's make some ties. Sewing in ends is just the absolute bane of my existence. Why is that? It's not that bad and it doesn't even go for that long. So like, why do I hate it so much? I don't know. I want my ties to be a mix of red and pink, and I want my ties to be pretty thick. So I'm, again, going to be using 4 balls of cotton, and I'm doing 2 red and 2 pink. I'm just going to like tie on, yarn on. I don't know the words. My ties are simply a chain. So I'm just going to chain until my ties are the right length. You can make these ties as long or as short as you like. It's completely up to you. I'm just like shoving my tie into the corner stitch here. And sorry, I want my ties to be doubled over like this. Pretend it's tied up in a little knot. Yeah, that's the length. That's the length. Chop these. Leave a fair bit on the ends because they'll be part of my tassel. Let me do the other side. How did I lose all that yarn that I was literally holding on to 1 second ago? Hello? The second tie's in. Cute. Now, for the ties, you can totally leave them unfinished, tassel-less. You do not need to put the tassels on. I think it looks really cool without tassels, but I will put some on for the sake of showing you. I am the tassel queen. I pride myself on my tassels. I don't know why I'm so good at it. Like, what a useless skill to have. But I'm glad that I get to pass the information on to you. I'm gonna make 2 ties for the back here to tie together. I like it extra strappy. I like my ties to be extra strappy. I do, I like that. Let's make some tassels. Look at these colors, come on. The secret to getting the perfect tassel is a humble toilet roll. Oh my God, the nails are so bad, don't look. Yeah, I'm using a toilet roll for my tassels. It's the perfect like height, I find. So easily accessible, we love to see it. Everybody has a toilet roll sitting around the house, unless you have a bidet. Do you still need toilet paper if you have a bidet? Surely there's still something to wipe, right? I don't know, I've never used one before. Dying to though. That's besides the point. Anyway, I'm gonna grab my tie. I'm gonna separate the ends of this tie into 2, and I'm gonna just pull on that to tighten it. I'm not gonna pull too tightly because if I snap these ends off, I'm done for. I'm gonna be working with 2 strands of cotton. Oh my God, the nails. I'm gonna be working with 2 strands of cotton at a time. I'm using pink and red because I want a little mixed tassel like this. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the perfect time to be using up any little scrap bits of cotton that you have. But to make it a little bit easier for you to follow, I'm just going to be using cotton straight from the ball. I'm going to pick up my toilet roll and we're going to lay this flat over the top with a little bit just kind of hanging over the end. And I'm just going to wrap the cotton around the toilet roll. However many times you wrap it around is totally up to you. It's just going to change the... Oh my God, there's a little rat eating a tomato in the garden. Can you see? Oh my God, he's eating the tomatoes. Is it a mouse or a rat? Oh my God, it's so cute though. He's just a little guy. That's just a little guy. Oh my God. Anyway, wow, that's going to distract me for the rest of this video. Okay, wow. Anyway, what was I saying? However many times you wrap sorry, I'm so distracted. However many times you wrap the yarn around the toilet roll is just going to change the density of your tassel. If you like a skinny little Ozempic tassel, you can just, wrap it around a few times. If you like a really thick, dense tassel, do more. I'm going to wrap mine around. Oh my God, I can't stop looking at the rat. I'm going to wrap mine around 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull this out. We'll chop these ends, leaving a little bit on the end. And now I'm just going to shimmy this off the toilet roll. You don't want to wrap it around too tightly because otherwise it's really hard to get off. Learn from my mistakes. I'm holding onto this center point at the top and I'm going to place it in between these two ties that I separated. I'm going to sit it in there like that while I pull on this second tie. And I'm just going to tie these in knots. So there's one there, pull it nice and tightly. And then I'm going to tie the other side back over it so that it's extra secure. Guys, the rat is still out there chilling. My cat's in here and he has no idea. He would be absolutely freaking his shit if he knew. Now that tassel there is attached, I'm going to take my cotton from my balls of yarn and just lay it flat and then lay my tassel over the top, just making sure there's a really generous amount of cotton on either side. And then I'm going to tie a knot over the top of my tassel, going one way, pulling nice and tight, and then doing another knot the other way. I'm going to keep this end of yarn sticking out while I wrap the other end around a few times. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 times around, making sure that it's wrapped nice and tightly around. And then using the end that was sticking out before, I'm going to tie another knot. So there's one, and then doing one back the other way so that it's nice and secure. I'm going to trim these bits here. And then I'm going to cut all of the ends here so that they're all the same length. And there we go. A perfect tassel. Look at her. Oh my God, rat check. The rat is looking this way. He's using his dexterous little thumbs to eat those tomatoes. Oh my God. He's using his dexterous little thumbs. Look, out there. What's out there? What's out there? Oh my God, looking totally the wrong way. Don't even worry about it. I knew it would look good with the cargos. Come on, it's so fucking cute. This top is so cute. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. This might be one of my favorite things I've ever crocheted. Let's peep the back. Peep the back. What's happening back there? Does it look okay? Don't look at my rounded shoulders. Does it look cute? I feel like it looks cute. Someone needs to make this immediately. Please, please, for the love of God, please. If someone makes this top, please tag me on socials at Ixora Atelier. I want to see. I need to see. Let me know which colors I should make my next one in, because I will be making more. Let me know which colors you're going to make yours in. I might copy. Happy crocheting, honeys. Illy. Mwah!